So this came about because I made a horrible cursed troll version of the click for fun, and somebody asked how I make these, so I might as well just make a fucking tutorial for it. These are not hard. You really don't need a lot here. So you will need a few things. The main one is blank CDs or DVDs. That's you need these to do the thing. It's the absolute baseline. Something I find very helpful when it comes to telling the difference between a CD and a DVD is that CDs will have a kind of greenish back, while DVDs have a blue back. On top of that, you may also want to get blank cases. You can probably repurpose old DVD or CD cases, or just buy them in packs of like 50 at your local Walmart. Really depends on what you have, what's accessible to you. On top of that, if you do anything digitally, you have the ability to print something out on a label. You will most likely need a printer that can scan things, especially if you want to do something horrible like whatever I did with the click. A method that requires a bit more forethought is the painting method. It is more difficult, a little bit more time consuming, but you know, if you think you're artistic enough, you can just paint the case, paint the CD, make a masterpiece, make it look cool. If you can't or don't want to go through the trouble, you can also always just use old reliable copy paper, trace it out, draw on it with however you want, whatever you want, or just write on it, who cares. You can also use fancy art markers for this, because they're effectively the same ink-wise. If you have the time, know-how, and ability, I guess, to do it digitally, you can absolutely do that. Here's some pretty good examples. MS Paint does actually work. You could also be me and get the absolute worst program to use, just for the hell of it if you wanted to. So these are a couple pretty good examples of older ones that I've made in the past. The Sweet Bro one, that was a printed label. This is painted. Took a long time. You could also just do the basic thing and just write on your fucking thing, put some stickers on it. It's basic, but it looks pretty good in the end, if you wanted to do that. Now the question of how to burn a CD is what comes up. I do in fact have a tutorial for this ready as well, for those watching that don't know how to do that. It's not too hard, you'll get it pretty quickly, I think. So the first thing you'll need is an actual reader. This is mine, it's old, works pretty well. You gotta pop it open, put your disc in there, and pop it closed, and whatever burning thing you use should automatically detect it. After that, you can just put whatever songs you want on there. It's a pretty simple drag and drop thing if you're doing it through Windows Media Player. Once you've completed dragging everything in, you just click Start Burn to start the reading process, and it'll write everything to the disk. Once the burning process is done, it'll automatically pop open, and you can then remove your disk and do whatever you want to it. Now when it comes to the actual customization process, there are 4 methods that I would like to actually talk about. Sharpie and stickers, painting it, using a printable label, or making the labels yourself out of printer paper with like a pair of scissors and a utility knife or whatever. This one is probably the quickest and the easiest. I have the most of these. You just write on it, you write the songs, what you named the playlist or whatever, how many tracks there are, and then you just decorate it, make it look nice. It's easy, very accessible to do. I would not recommend this one if you're very busy, but you can paint them. I would recommend only using acrylics, keeping the design relatively simple as to not build up too much thickness, and to seal it really well due to the risk of peeling. I've done these for a couple of Homestuck specifically soundtracks. They're good. So this method is probably the least accessible due to the fact that it requires actual labels. Those run for like $15 to $20 online. I happen to find mine at a surplus store for universities, so I just kind of like have them. So if you're buying from Avery, you can go to their website. They have a bunch of templates for various sizes, different things. Make sure you check the number. You can do it online, download it for a variety of different programs, or you could be me, an absolutely insane, deranged individual that likes making things hard, and you could find a literal program from 2005 to do the designing in. I am highly, highly recommending you do not do what I did. Do not do what I did. Just do it online. Do it on, download a template. Don't be me, please. This one's probably a bit easier for those that don't have access to the little labels. You just trace and cut. The full diameter of a disc is 120 millimeters. That's really the main thing you need to know. You can trace the actual disc if you want, just plop it on some paper, or you can be, again, insane and use a compass. After you've traced and cut, you can probably color it ahead of time, or you can wait until you glue it onto the disc to actually do anything to it. This one, I would say, is a little bit better because it gives you more options on what supplies you can use, but yeah, it's good, it's solid. So this one is the most printer dependent because if you're going to make a parody, you're probably going to want to scan in the original cover, but if you're making a custom one, those are the pixel dimensions you need. If you're going to fish it out, this one kind of takes a bit. Do this with both hands, please. But you effectively just kind of like shimmy it out, pull it out slowly. Then eventually, once you get it out, hopefully with no damage to the disc or the thing, you just pop open your printer, put it in there face down so the scanner can actually see the print, and scan it into your computer, which is where the adjoining software for your printer is important. So you just click scan, and eventually it will show up on your screen, and you can save it as a PDF or a JPEG in the case of HP Smart. Or if you're making a custom thing, you just kind of pop it open on whatever program you're using. I'm using Krita here, that's my standard, with the above pixel thing, and you just do whatever. There isn't really like a guideline for what you can and can't do. Like, this is an example of an actual CD case cover I've made. You could literally do whatever you want, and it'd be fine. This is one that I've picked up because the majority of the cases I've used and made have been the thin, jewel, clear ones. So, in this case, the scrub case was a painted one. I painted the design on front and painted the clear back, whatever I wanted the background color to be. You could really do whatever. Use a paper as the background, but only paint it on the front, paint it entirely on the back. It just kind of requires a little bit of forethought, so it's not something I would really recommend. I really try to put emphasis on proper sealing as well, because this peeled due to me only using Mod Podge. Really seal your paints, make sure they don't stick together. Once again, with probably the most accessible one, you just need to cut it out, draw on it, write down the list, the playlist or whatever, and then just slide it in. Again, with this, that's printer paper. This is the actual dimensions to trace out. You really only need to cut, draw, and paste, and you're basically basically done. So that is all the advice I have to offer for now, TM. Just get your music responsibly if you can. I'm not gonna judge. And be as creative as you want. There is no limits. Go apeshit, make your cool playlist, give it to your crush. Live life. I don't know. I'm so fucking tired.